Absolutely, wood chip paths are the way to go. If you're starting off your allotment, ignore what I said. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. My name's Will and welcome to my allotment plot. Today we're going to take a look at what's growing here in early May, and we've also made a start on the raised beds on the other side. So we're going to take a look at that and see how everything's getting on. I was reading through my tenancy agreement a couple of weeks ago and I read the paragraph about you should have at least 90% of your plot fully cultivated by after year one of owning the plot, and obviously I'm quite close to year one now. I think I took this on end of May, early June time, so I suddenly thought I need to start making some good progress on the second half of the plot. So last weekend I went and got some scaffolding boards and have begun to put them in. So let's take a look. So this is what it roughly looked like before. As you can see, a lot of overgrown grass, a lot of it was covered through the winter, and this is what it looks like now. Got 2 raised beds in there so far. The second one still needs a bit of screwing together and a bit of fixing. You'll see that I've also chosen to make quite a major U-turn. I have finally gone with the wood chip. Cutting that grass was just taking too much time. I came down here probably 2 or 3 evenings last week and the week before, and I just spent the whole time cutting the grass, and I thought this isn't worth it when I'm supposed to be growing vegetables. So obviously it's going to take a long time to cover the whole plot, but I'm going to slowly add some wood chip paths down, and then hopefully that will suppress the weeds, suppress the grass, and will allow me a bit more time to actually start growing the vegetables. As you can see through here, this is just 4 days worth of growth, and it became way too much. I cut all this back and it's straight away come back, so ignore what I said in all the previous episodes about having grass and it looks nice and everything. Go with the wood chip. It's going to make your life a million times much easier. There's a place at the front of the site where people leave old tools to go to die, and I looked through it yesterday and someone had left this, and I thought, why throw this away? It looks really useful. So I picked it up and I've been using it to break up some of the clumps in this bed. Hopefully then I can rake it over and start to refill it with some good quality compost. But that was really useful. I don't know what you call this, but it's got 4 spikes on the end, 2 in the middle. Stick it in the ground, twist it around, and it does a great job of breaking everything up. I want to get rid of as much of this dead grass as possible, and then aim to cover this with the layer of cardboard, and then hopefully put some fresh compost over the top. The only thing with this, I guess this is what they call no dig, but the only problem with this is you end up spending a fortune on compost. So I might have to see where I can source it fairly cheaply, but then the plan is to get the potatoes in here, and they desperately need to get in the next couple of weeks because everyone else are making really good progress and mine aren't even in the ground yet. Well, I say that mine aren't ready to go in the ground yet, but these ones that I put into the pots are just beginning to poke through. I was getting a little bit worried that they wouldn't grow, but they are, so that's good news. I'm going to fill that up with a little bit more compost, because as soon as they start to show through, you need to keep them covered. I was actually thinking last night, in some ways, it's better to grow potatoes in pots, because otherwise all over the plot I'm still getting potatoes sprouting, and if this continues, in a few years' time all I'm going to have is potatoes everywhere. That should keep them going a little bit longer. I've been talking about doing this for weeks on end now, and now is finally the time. Well, if I can clear some of these weeds out or some of this grass, now is finally the time to plant the leeks and onions. From memory, these are the onions. I think they're the onions. They look a bit smaller and they smell like onions. And these are the leeks, although they've got this purple colour at the bottom. Well, actually they might be the onions, because they were purple onions. I think they're the onions actually. But anyway, these are going into the ground here. Somebody gave me a really good tip last year on how to, they've got a lot of roots, on how to separate onions, and I can't remember, so if you're out there, let me know again and I'll make a note of it this time, because I'm going to end up just butchering the roots on these. I'm not sure if onions like to be transplanted or not. I think you're supposed to wash them, something like that. Right, that looks like a good one. And I'll be fascinated to see if these grow any better than the onion sets that I put in the other bed. Evidently if you grow them from seed you get better or bigger bulbs on the onions. It'll be a good little experiment. Right, I'm going to crack on with this and I'll be back in a minute. I don't know what my neighbour has put on their plot, but there's some really strange smell coming from this bed. Just hoping they haven't buried a body or something in there, because the smell is quite overpowering and horrendous. I think there's something in that little bag there, but it's really making it difficult to stick around here this morning. I need to secure these planks into place, so I've got my trusty drill and a screw, which I hope is going to be long enough. Yeah, it should be, and a screwdriver. Let's start with making some holes in here. Just want to make sure that it's all lined up correctly. I think that is about the right height. Good, and the right width. Let's go. And then I've also got these braces to go around the corners. Hopefully we'll hold it all in place. You may be wondering why I have cut these too tall for the bed edges. And initially I was thinking of having twice the height of this, but I'm not going to be able to get enough compost, certainly not this year, to fill up to that height. So for this year I think I'm going to keep it low, and then next year, depending on how things are going, I might add a second layer on here, or maybe through the winter. Because they also deliver horse manure at some point during the year, so once that arrives it might be useful to then top up all the beds to a high level. But we'll see. So far this looks good, so I'm going to finish off these four corners and then I'll be back. I just want to say thank you so much for the comment about covering the carrots with some cardboard to keep the moisture in. It has worked wonders. All of these have germinated in the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately I think I probably left it a little bit too long. They've got a little bit leggy, but I'm going to let them out into the sunshine now, and hopefully these carrots will develop well. But I was pleased, because otherwise we've always struggled to get them to germinate, but that method has worked 100%. Going to end up with more carrots than I know what to do with now. Well, it has been so hot in the polytunnel over the last few days. I've opened up a couple of those vents in the hope that it will help the plants, but I foolishly left these ones without really very much water, and they've also got crushed under all this wood. I'm going to need to clear all this out, but what I was going to show you is that the peppers have dried right out. Well, actually, they don't look too bad again today. Ooh, this isn't going to work. Bear with me, I've got a bit of a problem here. Here we go. Let's lift that lid off. So actually, they don't look as bad as I thought. I thought they'd been eaten, but they're still looking pretty good. So these desperately need potting up. These are the only three peppers I've got. The others were all chilies. So I'm going to pot these up as well, and then hopefully they will begin to grow on, and probably that aubergine needs something doing to it as well. Might just be able to spot there that the sunflowers are growing quite well as well, so they need to get outside into that bed. As I say, there's so much to do this time of year, it's difficult to keep up with it all. But the peppers definitely, otherwise I'm going to lose them. Every time I go to plant on my seeds, I'm never quite sure if I'm behind on everyone else, because I would have thought by now that peppers need to be much bigger than this. But maybe not. Maybe they've still got plenty of time to grow. Anyway, hopefully in these pots, and these pots might be a bit small, but it might help them to grow on a little bit. They look quite healthy, so I'm hopeful. Never actually successfully grown a pepper before. I had a bit of luck with chilies in the past, but not with peppers. So we'll get them in there. I'm not sure if you're supposed to feed them. I imagine at some point I do need to start feeding all these plants, but for now that will do. Let's get some water on them. And get them back into the nice warmth of the polytunnel. Hopefully they don't get completely slug eaten. They have already been eaten a little bit, but hopefully they survive. Quick update on the bird's nest that was growing in the shed. There aren't actually any birds in here. Ooh, just got hit by the rake. There aren't any birds in here, but as you can see, I've moved some of the wood. I've left that bit there, but I don't think they ever actually nested. I think they tried to grow a nest, but never succeeded. So it's interesting. But also behind the door here is another one. It looks like they made a couple of attempts, but that one doesn't have, I don't think that one has anything in it. Nope. So it'll be disappointing. It would have been good to have chicks growing in the shed, but also I guess quite good not, so I can use that bit of wood at some point. Whew, that smell is absolutely killing me. I'm going to have to stop there because I can't stay in that smell for too much longer. But thank you so much for joining me again today. Made some good progress on the raised beds here and here. Hopefully get another one in this area in the next week, and then next weekend we can look at putting in the potatoes, putting in the brassicas into that one, and then have one more to grow something else. And almost fell over there. Almost made some good progress also on the onions and leeks that have gone in the front there, and everything else is looking pretty good. This rhubarb has gone completely to flower. I'm not sure if it should have done that. I think I should have cut that main stalk down a lot further, but for now that will do. And I've also got a lot of berries. Got a lot of gooseberries coming here, gooseberries coming over there, raspberries in there. Things are all growing. It's growing too quick, too much too quick. It's a shame it doesn't spread itself out a bit. Could do with more growing in the winter, less in the spring, but it's all exciting. It's all good to see. And the beans are doing quite well. They look a little bit yellow, but I think that's because I started them a bit too early. The bottoms are looking better, and that one looks better at the top, which is good. And also the lettuce. I thought this lettuce would get absolutely destroyed, but it seems to be growing quite well, and it likes the shade from the potato. So although the peas haven't grown yet, whoever said they do well under shade, certainly they do very well under shade, which is good. And then the onions. I don't know, when you pick onions, because these are looking pretty good. I did move a bit of the soil away from the top of one of them, and I can see that it's got a decent bulb already developing, but I don't think it's quite time to pick onions yet. Maybe soon. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for joining again today, and I'll catch you again next week. Have an amazing week and see you soon. Bye.